joining me with his commentary. Welcome, Tim.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course, we'd like to thank you all for watching. This is the finals. It's day 8. It's been leading up to this event for the last 10 days that everyone's been here since July 14th. We are in Cali, Colombia at Club Cañas Gordas. We have our referee staff clearing off the glass. We also have our national television station here from Colombia. If you see those cameras around the event, they are also broadcasting this in Colombia. I think we're in for a really interesting matchup. We've seen some tough matches so far in the quarters and the semis that we've been streaming all for you. Tim, what are your thoughts on what we can expect to see between Carson and De La Rosa?
Well, interesting doesn't quite describe this match. We've been waiting for this one all week. They were the favorites coming into this championship. De La Rosa winning his national title, Rocky Carson doing the same. And so these two have played each other many times on the professional tour, but this is a world championship. The dynamics are a little bit different. It's a long tournament. You're playing a variety of people. We saw Rocky Carson yesterday. He was pushed to the brink by Moscoso from Bolivia, and we'll see whether that has had any effect on his fitness. We know he's very fit, but he's also 37. He's not as young as De La Rosa, and so we'll see if maybe he wears down later in the match. Honestly, this is a toss-up. We don't know. Will Rocky's experience, current world championship status, or world champion status, kind of guide him through this match? Or will De La Rosa, using his quickness and hands, give him the edge in this match? Let's find out.
Looks like De La Rosa starts out with a side out.
Yeah, there was an avoidable hinder call. Good start then from De La Rosa, gets in the box.
Side out for side out. Now yesterday we saw in the semifinals, as you were saying, Rocky Carson had a really tough match against Conrado Moscoso from Bolivia. And it was also easily the longest match of the entire week. So it'll be interesting to see if Rocky has another long match ahead of him today.
It was a tremendous match. Those of us who were here, we hope you saw it at home. That's down. Rocky gets on the board first. It was an amazing match. Both players, Moscoso was a finalist last year, 2 years ago against Rocky Carson, but maybe was a little bit overawed by that situation, and Rocky won that fairly easily in 2014. This time, though, Moscoso had a different approach, very confident, played extremely well. And you could see in that match, Rocky was very emotional, more emotional than we perhaps see him. So we'll see if De La Rosa, who played Samuel Murray from Canada, Samuel played well, but just couldn't hang with De La Rosa. And in the end, De La Rosa kind of pulled away, especially in that second game, and might be a little bit fresher today. We started out with some unforced errors, uncharacteristic from both players.
You know, one thing I've noticed, though, watching De La Rosa play is he tends to hold back a little bit in the beginning or feel out his opponent, or he's not totally on. And I don't usually see him really start to turn it up, and that confidence and natural racquetball ability starts to shine through for him. That's just my observation.
Got a good rally going here. Rocky with a setup on the front court. Finishes it with a reverse pinch. Yeah, speaking of fast starts, De La Rosa, we've seen that at times. He didn't do that in the Pan Am Championships in March in the final against Jake. He started fast and stayed fast and went through that very quickly. You can see that on our YouTube channel, of course. And you can't really do that in a final of a world championship. Another
effort.
Backhand winner from Rocky Carson. 3 serving 1. De La Rosa is going to get his chance. Great pickup from Rocky Carson. Oh, that's a poor ceiling ball from Rocky, and he got punished for it.
He pays for it. Another long rally. We've already had a couple long rallies to open up game one. I think we're in for some great competition, which of course is what we want to see in the finals.
And you saw the athleticism there of Rocky to get that ball back. Most people, that's a down ball, but he got it back, stayed in the point, and it was unfortunate that he just made an uncharacteristic mistake going to the ceiling.
Rocky says that ball's down.
Well, our view is difficult on this right side. I was screened on what happened there, but looks like there's going to be an appeal from Mexico.
The referees are split, one up, one down.
So Rocky wants a discussion for So really here in this situation, Laura, our referee Fabian Torres just needs to say, let's go, let's play. We're not discussing this. My call was a replay. A line judge disagreed, a line judge agreed. Let's move on. We're not having the discussion on this point. It's unlucky from Carson. With his foot, I think. 2 serving 3.
Another point for De La Rosa.
Both of these players incredibly experienced. De La Rosa, even though he's still in his early 20s, has been playing on the national and international stage for a long time.
First broken ball of the day.
Rocky, of course, is the 3-time defending world champion. Won it in 2010 against Jack Huzak. 2012, Dominican Republic. 2014, Canada. So this is trying to become the 4-time consecutive world champion, which is an incredible achievement if you think of those that spans 8 years of play. Two bounces, says our head official.
Pretty sure Rocky's going to have something to say about that.
It's interesting, though, that he didn't appeal. He doesn't like the call, but he didn't appeal, so he probably agrees with it. Just working the referee a little bit. Hoping he'll get a call later, perhaps. Good rally going on here. Great defense from Rocky. Goes to the ceiling. De La Rosa attacks it.
Ooh,
Skip ball.
Skip.
Our head official is Fabian Torres here from Colombia. It's been interesting having Mexico and the U.S. in the final because a lot of our referees here are from either the U.S. or Mexico, and we do not allow them to officiate a player from their own country.
I think that's a good rule. Keeps any bias out of question. Point for Rocky Carson, 4 serving 2.
Yeah, that was a smart shot, cross court.
4 serving 3.
It's going to come off the back wall for Rocky. And he finishes it. That was much better from him. It's been a bit messy to start the match. Lots of crazy rallies, balls flying around at different corners. That was a lot more what Rocky wants. Good serve, poor return, finish the point, 3-shot rally. Good return that time, though, from De La Rosa. He really attacked that.
De La Rosa with a skip.
Yeah, he hasn't yet found his rhythm.
Yep.
He seems a bit choppy right now. He'll hit a good shot, but then he'll skip one. He needs to settle down a little bit. This is a different environment. Yes, you're a professional player, and you've played in a Pan Am Championship and won a Pan Am Championship, but the opportunity to call yourself world champion is something else. And
That's
perhaps he's just facing a little bit more pressure than he normally would feel.
Good attempt on reading Rocky's shot there, but just not enough. It's going to make it 6 serving 3. It's like they're looking to wipe down the court, although one thing we do notice and appreciate about the courts here is they're not finished, and so it doesn't really leave the courts too wet when someone does slip.
Yeah, we've seen towel breaks very rarely. One might say that we've seen them most when Rocky plays.
One might.
He uses them almost as an unofficial timeout at times, and then it's the responsibility of the official to kind of say, you know, let's just play. These courts don't really get wet. We don't really need this as much as you think you do. Let's move on and keep this match going for those of us in the audience here today and those of you at home. Looks like another Z serve for Rocky. It's a good one. De La Rosa is going to go for a replay. A replay is called. Great
Nice
pickup.
diving get from De La Rosa.
Oh, wow.
Wow. That's unfortunate.
That's unlucky from De La Rosa. He did well just to get there.
There's going to be a timeout now as these guys walk off the court. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. Welcome back to the 18th International Racquetball Federation World Championship. We have Rocky Carson and Daniel De La Rosa battling it out in game 1.
That was a good timeout from Daniel. the value of taking a timeout, given that usually you do win the rally afterwards. There's a great example. De La Rosa took a timeout, regrouped, and won a good point. Good pickup from Daniel. He's not putting the ball down, though. That time he does. He goes down the line.
It's going to be a point for De La Rosa. 4-serve-7.
He really needed that, Laura. It was a smart timeout. He's playing a little ragged. He just needs to calm down and hit what he knows he can do. Rocky and overhead. We'll have a replay there on the lights. No argument from the players.
Unusual. We've seen some argument so far. Pretty tight matchup. I feel like we are in for a long one if it's only 4-7.
Great power from De La Rosa, but Rocky picks it up. De La Rosa had his chance. He didn't put it down. Rocky showed him what he had to do. Rocky looked back at the referee, talking about the room he had to make that swing.
Referee looks like he clarifies it for De La Rosa.
A nod from De La Rosa. These two have played each other a lot. They know each other's games very well. Much better from De La Rosa. Really attacked that Z serve. Rocky applauds. It was a very good shot, very controlled, a lot of power, also precision. Another lob serve, this time to the backhand though. It's a good one. Two good shots from Rocky, two good returns from De La Rosa. Now De La Rosa gets his chance. Good flick there from De La Rosa to win that point. That's great hands on the front court.
Rocky losing the headband. That's a point for De La Rosa. 5-serving-7.
2 points from his timeout. Rocky with his opportunity. Oh, that looked like it hurt.
Yeah. You know, Daniel De La Rosa did a good job of anticipating Rocky's shot the first time, but on that last shot, he kind of trapped himself on the left side and really left the right side wide open.
Yeah, it was something I spoke to our other analyst, Gary Mazeroff, earlier this morning with De La Rosa. When he dives, he really goes for it, which is great for his athleticism and staying in the point, but also you have to be concerned that he could really hurt himself in one of those situations where he just goes a little bit too far, and you saw there he slid into the glass. Something like that maybe injures your shoulder, could put you out for months.
Right,
and so there was a good example of where it almost looked a little bit out of control on that dive, and I wonder as he gets older whether he's going to change either the way he dives or how often he dives to protect his career. Rocky with an opportunity to finish this point. He does so. Good forehand pinch from him up front. There's going to be an appeal. Oh, screen serve. Excuse me.
He's appealing.
So we're going to have a discussion.
The referees are in agreement.
Well, while this continues, Laura, it looks like he's not going to get away with that. Both line judges agree. Rocky's almost legendary for his fitness and taking care of his body. And we've seen over the last couple of years, he started wearing knee pads, whether to protect his knees from sliding or even just to protect them as he bends and shoots the ball. He has had a lot of trouble, as you just saw there, with the court. this week, and I spoke to him a couple days ago, and he mentioned the fact that he feels very uncomfortable on this court. He slipped a lot yesterday when he went for a shot, especially moving forward. None of the other players have really, I've seen that, and so I just wonder whether perhaps it's something to do with his shoes. I'm not sure, but you saw there, it looked like he slipped.
Yeah, we did see that a lot from him yesterday in his semifinal against Conrado Moscoso.
8 serving 5. Considering De La Rosa really hasn't played that well yet, he's still hanging in there. He's only down by 3. Let's see if Rocky can pull away.
Rocky getting jammed up there on the left side. Oh, and the ball breaks. I think it was already broken. That just made it apparent that it was broken. Be interesting. I'm assuming they're going to go ahead and replay that.
Well, the IRF rules are interesting on this. The only way you're supposed to be allowed to check if a ball is broken is by squeezing it. If somebody hits the ball after the rally without squeezing it to demonstrate it's broken, the previous rally stands. Because you can't prove that the ball was broken on the previous rally.
That's interesting, though, because Rocky said it was broken. De La Rosa's the one that hit it instead of squeezing it, but.
Correct. So maybe just, I don't know, the referee should have picked up on that one. IRF rules are very clear on that issue, and you can see them on our website, internationalracquetball.com. We have posted them. There are slight differences between the IRF and other national federations, and so that can create problems when players come to the IRF tournaments because they misunderstand the rules. This is especially evident in the juniors. These players should know by now, having played on the international stage for so long. Smart play there from Rocky, goes cross court.
Yeah, 2 quick points in a row for Rocky. De La Rosa taking a good timeout, in my opinion, which means we're going to take a quick break as well. We'll be right back, so don't go anywhere. We're back at the 18th IRF World Championship where Rocky Carson is leading 10 serving 5. Tim, what are your thoughts on what's happening so far in game 1?
Rocky's just playing a little cleaner. Daniel De La Rosa really isn't playing the way we know he can play. He played much better yesterday, was taking his shots. He's a shooter, and right now he's just not able to put the ball down, or he's making mistakes. Against Rocky, Rocky's known for his consistency, his ability to grind out wins. He's mentally very tough. And so as a consequence, right now, we see Rocky taking a lead and starting to pull away. Daniel De La Rosa has to pull it back. Let's see if this timeout worked.
That's tough. You can hear Rocky groaning all the way to the front.
Rocky gives credit to Daniel De La Rosa. Wasn't too much Daniel could do in that situation. He got caught in the back. It was an excellent serve. And Daniel De La Rosa did a boast from the sidewall to the other sidewall and died on the front wall. Beautiful shot from him. Again, though, the timeout worked. He may want to rethink that serve. He's been lob serving consistently. Right now, it's a nick lob coming off, and Rocky's really attacking it.
Funny, Daniel had a little time there to complain. He didn't even have to move. That ball came right back, and he had another opportunity.
But there was another example where it looked like Rocky slipped a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder what the case is with that. We haven't seen too many other players slipping. Looking at Rocky's shoes, he does kind of have that gum sole. I wonder if that has something to do with it.
There's a beautiful serve there from Daniel De La Rosa. I mentioned that the Nick lob wasn't really working for him. He switched it up to a kind of a half drive Z, not too hard. And he got an ace as a result.
Point, yeah.
Wide angle from Rocky. Daniel not able to get there. Up by 4, 10 serving 6. Consistently hitting that Z. Goes for a jam instead. There's a great example of how Daniel really moved his feet quickly to get in position to hit that shot. Allowed it to run around on his forehand and hit a pinch. Very difficult to execute. You've got to move your feet very quickly, and then you still got to execute that shot. That's why he's playing in the final and we're not, Laura.
There's a reason he's here. Look at that.
That's the kind of shot Daniel wants to be able to take. He's in the middle of the court. The ball's coming back to him. He's controlling the point, able to put it down.
Checking the ball the right way. Wow, 2 nice gets from both players.
Great pickup from De La Rosa. Not that time.
Wow. That's tough.
Daniel almost flings himself at the ball.
Right.
If you saw that. Maybe we can cut that later into a slow-mo. That was a tremendous dive. But again, he just flung himself and slid into the wall. Got to be careful there.
Yeah, you know, it's true. We were talking about the safety of the players, and we'll see how long he can keep up those dramatic dives, too, because not for nothing, he's only getting older. I think most of us know it doesn't get any easier to keep diving and getting back up the older you get.
At the same instant, we love it as a fan.
For
we
sure.
love the athleticism, we love the power and the retrievability that De La Rosa has. Great serve there from Rocky. Again, 3-shot rally. Changed up the serve. Forced Daniel to chase the ball forward. Wasn't able to do too much with it other than get it back to the front wall. Gave Rocky an opportunity there to finish the point, and he did so. So we're at 11, serving 7. 4 points away from this first game. Good serve from him. It's coming off the back wall.
Nice smart shot from Rocky, too. He caught Daniel trying to get back to the center and had him off balance.
Yeah, it started with the serve. He had a good serve. De La Rosa went to the ceiling. We know that these are hot and humid conditions and the courts are very quick. So the ball came off the back wall, and then Rocky just dictated that point throughout.
De La Rosa might be
I think it's an equipment timeout. I'm not sure.
I think he's got to stop some of the bleeding. He has been diving all over the floor, which, of course, we're loving. Take a quick moment then to remind everyone that there are 2 more matches that we're going to be streaming immediately after this. The next match is going to be the men's doubles final between Team USA and Team Mexico. And then right after that, we'll go into the women's doubles final, which is Team USA and Team Mexico. It also, go ahead.
Both very exciting, Laura. We love the doubles here. It's very intense. We've had some incredible doubles matches this week. Very spoiled to see many of them go to tiebreaker. Want to also mention that we have the World Seniors coming up.
That's right.
And that's at the end of August, beginning of September. 5 days of lots of matches, lots of fun. lots of competition. Having been there a couple of times myself, I encourage those of you who are over the age of 35 to join me and many others who are already signed up to compete in the Senior World Championships. It's a great time to compete against people your own age with the same situations, with families, jobs, sore, tired, and we all
Maybe
embrace
not
it
diving
together.
all over like De La Rosa, huh?
Maybe not so much at our age. You can find that
Yeah.
information on our website, internationalracquetball.com.
Here we go. Daniel's cleaned up and back. Rocky serving. Side out for De La Rosa.
So in that situation, De La Rosa really got a timeout. Yes, it was a medical timeout. He had to get cleaned up. But each time he's taken one of those, he's won the rally afterwards.
That's right.
So there's a good example of those tight matches. Timeouts can be very effective and very helpful.
You want to use them. You get 3 right now. That's a rule that's going to change starting September.
Great pickup by De La Rosa. Almost got hit in the head. He's going to get this. And he earned the point.
Wow, what a rally. We've seen some outstanding rallies so far in this final. And you know, we were talking about how fast the courts are. It's a cement wall in the front, side, and back glass. Another element to the game is that this is an indoor and outdoor facility. So as the fans change and the light changes, that's just something else that the players have to face, which, you know, obviously they're expecting at this level as well.
They are, but for those who aren't normally professional players, who don't do this full-time for a living, it's a new experience for them. A lot of the players here, representing 20 different nationalities, are here and they may have never played on a glass backside wall. And that gives these players a distinct advantage, not that they need any already being professionals. But for some, it was just a great experience coming to a World Championships, representing their country. Yes, they're not going to take De La Rosa to a tiebreak, but at the same instance, they may get to play De La Rosa and something they get to tell their kids one day. So it's been wonderful to see. Meanwhile, we've got a great rally until De La Rosa chunks it into the floor, and you can hear him. He's frustrated by that.
That makes it 13-8 now. Rocky Carson 2 away from taking game 1 from De La Rosa.
Good shot, says Rocky Carson.
Sometimes De La Rosa makes those look so easy, and it's not.
He does, but sometimes as a player, too, you have to say too good and not beat yourself up when somebody hits a great shot.
Right.
Mentally, that can be damaging if you're blaming yourself because someone else played really well. And in that situation, he can go, good shot, let's move on to the next point, because I couldn't do anything about that one.
Right, and I think that's the best way to stay mentally focused, too. Unfortunate skip for De La Rosa, side out for Carson.
Lots of uncharacteristic skips from De La Rosa today. I wondered whether Rocky would come out a little fatigued from yesterday's 2.5-hour match. Right now, it looks like De La Rosa's the one that's struggling a little bit physically.
Oh, nice effort by Rocky. Skip ball.
Head coach Dave Ellis. Rocky was just having a little chat just to make sure that was the right call. De La Rosa, 2 coaches, Javier Moreno Sr., Aaron Palomino. Not sure which one is serving as the head coach in this match. Much better from De La Rosa.
Yeah.
3-shot rally, good serve, poor return, finish the point. It's important for him to gain some momentum, even if he loses this game. Just letting Rocky know that he's not out of this. He's going to push him all the way.
All right, that ball's down. De La Rosa giving that one to Rocky. He knew it was down. Good to see the good sportsmanship out there when you can be honest about what happened.
Absolutely. We see sometimes, not just IRF, but just in matches in general, where a player might try and sell a point and then try and convince a referee otherwise. And so it's great to see when players do play honestly and do admit to 2 bounces, or I did skip it, or we had instances this week where both players overturned the referee. And so we applaud that, we encourage it, and we hope you do too.
Yeah, that kind of integrity is refreshing.
Good decision there. Looked like De La Rosa was going to go back off the back glass. Not an opportunity to hit forward. Replay call.
Wow, 38-foot kill from De La Rosa. You know, it's really funny in these high tense situations. I just love how every time the server gets into the box, you could hear a pin drop out here in the crowd with the intensity of their watching.
Well, De La Rosa pushed Rocky to the right. You saw Rocky, he's fist pumping. He's angry with himself because he made a mistake there. But De La Rosa still had to put that ball away, and he did it beautifully. But speaking of pin drops, Laura, yesterday evening, Colombia-Mexico doubles. I think you would agree with me. I've never heard a crowd so quiet as when Mexico took apart Colombia in that semifinal.
That's right. It was almost haunting.
I hope you stay and watch that match later, Mexico USA men's doubles. I spoke to Beltran afterwards and just kind of mentioned, you know, we didn't expect the score to be 15-2, 15-5, or 15-3, 15-5. You know, we thought it would be a little bit more competitive. I said, were you trying to make a statement? He said, yeah, we're here for gold.
Wow,
and I think he was hoping that the U.S. team would notice that score line and maybe psychologically be thinking about that as to how badly they took apart the current world champions. So I think you need to stay in. If you're watching, this is going to be a great match coming up after this one.
We're in for lots
Mexico,
more great racquetball.
USA.
Both men's doubles and women's doubles are USA and Mexico.
Oh, that's tough.
Oh.
It's a court hinder. There's no
Crazy rally.
I'm not sure what the appeal was for. I was automatically a replay, 2 bounces. Says Donna Ryder from Ireland in front of me. Side away is what they say for a side out. We appreciate Ireland being here from Europe.
Rocky able to sneak that one right past De La Rosa and now puts himself in his first game point position.
You know, there's only 4 points in it, Laura, and it's not De La Rosa thinking, well, you know, I just got to try and stay in this match. I've just got to get in the game. I mean, he's only 4 points away from the first game himself, so this is important for Rocky. He needs to take this. Great defense from De La Rosa.
And
Better
Rocky
shot from
buries
Rocky.
it. That means Rocky Carson wins game 1, 15-11. We'll be back with game 2, so don't go anywhere. We'll find out who will be the men's singles gold medalist right after this. Don't go anywhere. There's more live from the 18th World Racquetball Championship. We're back at the 18th IRF World Championship. We'd like to thank you all for watching, and don't forget to share with your friends that you're watching the International Racquetball Federation World Championships. You can share that live feed on Facebook. Thanks for tuning in. Plus, check out the IRF Facebook, where we've been posting pictures every day. So you want to check those out and share those as well. Some outstanding athletes and photos to share. We have Rocky Carson winning game 1. Daniel De La Rosa siding him out so far in game 2. No points scored.
Psychologically, Laura, it's important to win the first game. Some colleagues and I at Oklahoma State University, where I work, did some analysis on the racquetball in the Pan Am Games last year, and what we found was there was an 83% chance of winning the match if you win the first game.
Interesting.
So it gives you that edge. You know you're ahead. It forces your opponent to do something different. And if they do it, in the rare occasion they win game 2, then they have the advantage. 75% chance of winning the tiebreak if you win game 2. So De La Rosa, if he wins game 2, he's got the upper hand. But right now it's Rocky with the upper hand, having taken the first game.
Interesting statistics, thank you. And Rocky flicking that one in, earning himself a point, tying it up in game 2, 1-1.
Rocky's consistently serving that drive C. It's not the shot, the serve he's been doing most of the week. He's been trying a variety out, but he's hit a lot of cross-court drive serves to some of his other opponents. So I suspect it's just simply, he knows it's his safest serve. Meanwhile, we got a great rally going on here. He got it.
Wow.
De La Rosa with a setup though, finishes.
Great rally, that's fun to watch. Rocky doing a great job of getting to that back court. He does move very gracefully on the court too.
Yeah, he's got great fitness. He's got great balance. He plays percentage racquetball. And if you look at how he plays on the professional tour, he's almost always there or thereabouts in the final every tournament. And that's a testament to his mental toughness as well. The idea that, you know, as somebody who is a multi-world champion, everybody wants to beat him. Just as we interviewed Paola yesterday, everybody wants to beat you. So what do you do to make sure that each time you play, every time you play your best?
Skip for Carson. And, you know, just going off of the athleticism and talent that you're talking about for Rocky, I mean, he plays indoor racquetball, outdoor racquetball, and I know he's actually a huge surfer. He gets out and surfs every day, and that has to do great things for your balance.
Yeah, that's right. He didn't finish the professional season as well as he wanted. I talked to him about that the last 2 or 3 tournaments. You know, he didn't get to the final every time. Looks like we have an appeal here.
Yep. Oh, and
it's disagreed.
Judges disagree.
So both judges disagree, so it's overturned. Shake of the head from De La Rosa. You can make up your own minds at home. And so I talked to Rocky about that, and he said he was just worn out, and he needed a break. And he said he felt a lot better coming into this tournament than he has for a while. So that's probably why he's in the final, winning. Good pickup from De La Rosa. Again, great defense, but Rocky's still attacking. Textbook. Can't do any better than that.
Ties it up, 2-2. And don't forget, for those of you watching at home, you can catch all of the past streams and archive videos from the International Racquetball Federation by subscribing to their YouTube channel. Go to YouTube and search for International Racquetball Federation. Both players calling. Yep, they're going to get the replay.
Much more closely contested second game. Rocky went up early in game 1 and kept the lead the entire way. This one, we've gone back and forth for a while now. De La Rosa settling down. And I say that, of course. And he's a big skip down the left side. He's really frustrated, you can tell.
And just like that now, Rocky has the lead in game 2. De La Rosa able to hold him off. You don't want Rocky to get too many points. As you mentioned, Tim, Rocky did have the lead for all of game 1. De La Rosa down by 1.
That's tough. I don't know if you can hear that, but that's tough, said Rocky to De La Rosa after that shot. He recognizes a quality shot when he sees it. But then another skip, but it's on that backhand. So if I'm Rocky or his coach Dave Ellis, I would be picking on that backhand right now because he's really struggling with it, De La Rosa.
We're gonna get the replay.
Safety hold up.
Keeps it up.
It's a long rally. Awkward.
Yeah.
Oh, but Rocky doesn't finish. De La Rosa, no. Kicks out for De La Rosa. Good pickup from Rocky.
Mix it up.
What a rally. Oh, De La Rosa. Oh, wow, that's unlucky.
Oh. What a long rally. Crowd appreciating that effort.
Well, there's applause from the fans here. They appreciate the length of that rally and how hard the players worked. Sometimes, though, you might say from an outside perspective in that environment, why was the rally so long? And it was because the players had opportunities, both of them, to finish points or make a better shot, and they didn't.
Not putting it away. De La Rosa calling a timeout. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break as well. We'll be right back in just a moment. We're back in game 2. De La Rosa calling that timeout. We're just talking about what a long rally it was. And as you said, Tim, before we went to commercial, players not able to put that ball down. And of course, watching, it's easy to say, hey, they should put that ball down. I could do it. But no, these guys playing tough at this level to make it to the finals and to be crowned world champion. It's exciting for the fans. They're definitely loving these long rallies and a tight start to game 2.
Yeah, as a fan, we love the long rallies. It's exciting. There's so much action going on. But from a player's perspective or a coach's perspective, you don't want a long rally. You're getting fatigued, but it also means that you're making mistakes, and you shouldn't be.
Right.
Because in that situation, it wasn't, oh my goodness, so many incredible gets from one player, great defense. It was just a little bit messy, and they just need to clean that up. I suspect, though, in those kind of situations, Rocky's going to be the benefits as opposed to De La Rosa. Rocky, we know, is very fit, well-trained. He's been doing this a long, long time, takes care of his body. So in those long rallies, it's De La Rosa who's going to be physically trying a little bit harder than Rocky.
Right, like Rocky's prepared for this. This is what he trains for. All right, they got the fresh ball.
Good serve from De La Rosa. 2 ceiling balls in a row. Rocky's going to take it. Doesn't put it down. De La Rosa to the ceiling.
Another
and
ceiling.
Rocky. Back to De La Rosa. Somebody's got to shoot this. Oh, we have a replay. Hit the lights, bounce down awkwardly.
Well, I guess you hit enough ceiling balls, you're going to get that awkward bounce off the light. Both players, though, looking for that setup before they're really swinging away.
McLeod. Good serve from De La Rosa. Good defense from Rocky. He's going to shoot this, Rocky.
Big
De La Rosa.
skip from De La Rosa. We've seen a lot of tough rallies, and sometimes it's tough to remember. It's still only 3 serving 2.
That's right. And that's an advantage to De La Rosa right now because he's not playing very crisply. And yet he's still very much in this game too. Still early days. Good pickup from Rocky. That's better from Daniel De La Rosa from San Luis Potosí, Mexico. Yeah, we saw him literally just crush everybody in March when he played, Laura, and I wondered whether his home crowd had really motivated him to go in there and put on a show. He loves the big moment. He enjoys the stage, as do most players, but him in particular, and I felt that he went in very focused in those matches, really wanting to put on and prove to everybody in his hometown that he was the best player. Doesn't have that home support here, and he just seems a little flat today.
Yeah, I wonder how that really does affect players. And you know, what the mindset is to coming in, going up against Rocky Carson, who, as we mentioned, is so medaled and, you know, former world champion himself.
Rare mistake from Rocky on that drive Z. Yeah, I don't think De La Rosa's out of this by any stretch. They've played each other a lot in the past couple years, and I think De La Rosa's actually had Rocky's number the last 2 or 3 times they've played. So he certainly knows what he needs to do to win. He's just got to execute a little better. Yeah, Rocky's got to put that ball down. He had multiple chances. De La Rosa stayed in it. One thing we mentioned yesterday, Laura, was that when players dive, they have to do something smart with the ball. We talked about Samuel Murray from Canada being very proficient at that, diving and making a smart shot while you're diving to keep in the point. It needs more than just a dive and then lose the point. You need to do something with it, and there De La Rosa really did. They kept him in the point.
If you're going to expend all that energy, you have to make it effective as well.
It's better from Daniel. Got into the front court, finished the shot.
Daniel De La Rosa now with the advantage.
Yeah, he had options there. The ball wasn't on the sidewall. He was running forward. He could have gone cross court, down the line, pinch. And so as a consequence from that, Rocky indecision, did the right thing, stayed in the middle to try and make De La Rosa hit maybe a poor shot, but he couldn't choose all 3. And so as a result, De La Rosa hits a pinch. Rocky's just a half step too slow. Rocky down in game 2, 3 serving 4.
Down the line winner for Rocky Carson to tie it up now 4-4. You know, so far in game 2, we haven't seen many points allowed by either player. I don't even know. I don't think either player has gone on a 2-point run so far. Maybe that's the max.
Some coaches, some don't, but some coaches suggest that you change the way you play when you're receiving versus when you're serving. When you're receiving, if you make a mistake, you're giving your opponent a point, versus when you're serving, you're giving your opponent just a side out. There's nothing going on the board. And so when you receive, maybe you play a little bit safer rather than going for all of your shots, because you want to make sure that you're not going to give your opponent anything.
No freebies.
Some coaches don't agree with that. Some coaches think you just play the same way each point. And if you've got a shot, you take it. And if you miss it, you miss it. It's just 2 different theories essentially on this. And in this case, if De La Rosa can avoid these skips, I think he's going to push Rocky all the way in game 2. It's really down to whether he can play clean at this moment. Rocky's not skipping hardly at all in this match. Yeah, he's not put all the balls away that he should have, but he's putting pressure on De La Rosa because he's getting a lot of points, a lot of shots back. There he almost got it. Frustrated with himself, you can see there.
Yeah, he's gotten jammed up 2 or 3 times right there on that left side. De La Rosa looking for the encroachment. From my point of view, it looked fine.
So one disagrees, one agrees. De La Rosa very emotional in his response.
Call stand. Or no call.
Better from De La Rosa, controlling the middle of the court, keeping Rocky on the back foot. Again, being in a position where he has a variety of shots available, Rocky isn't able to move one way or the other and cut it off.
The ref moving De La Rosa along. You only have 10 seconds in between serve. Point for De La Rosa. And he's in the lead again, 5-4.
Rocky was looking at his coach, asking whether he should appeal that. He thought he could get it. Good pickup from De La Rosa. Off the side glass. Skip ball from Rocky.
Another point. Like you said, De La Rosa definitely in this and now leading by 2.
So Rocky having a quick word with the referee. I couldn't quite hear what he said. Might have been just a tactical use of time to regroup after that big skip.
Yeah, it looks like it didn't work. De La Rosa gets another point. Rocky gonna call a timeout, see if he can re-strategize and refocus. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor. This is game 2 of the men's singles IRF 18th World Championship. These guys are battling to see who will be crowned the world champion. De La Rosa now in the lead in game 2, 7-4. Tim, what are your thoughts on what Rocky needs to do in order to refocus? He's had a couple skips, a couple mistakes. What do you think was the advice he got in that timeout?
Well, that would be pure speculation on
You have
Dave
pretty
Ellis's
good intuition, though,
part.
Tim.
Thanks,
you
Laura.
call everybody's timeouts, and I'd like to hear what you think.
Well, game 1 was a bit sloppy, and it was really De La Rosa giving most of the points to Rocky. Rocky was just playing smart, solid racquetball, but De La Rosa's really cleaned up his game in game 2, and he's not making the errors that he was in game 1. Yeah, he's still creeping 1 or 2 in, but so is Rocky. Rocky's had some opportunities to finish points, and he hasn't done it. And that really seems to be the key right now. Rocky's playing, smart racquetball. But it seems to be De La Rosa who's doing the attacking. We'll just let this rally finish. That's awkward for De La Rosa. He goes to the ceiling. Rocky's going to shoot this. Can't put it down. Good hands from De La Rosa.
That was pretty.
Yeah, it requires a lot of wrist strength because he took it behind his body. And it wasn't just, I got the ball back, but you saw it was a real controlled shot. It requires good control at the wrist, soft hands, and got a round of applause as a consequence.
And I think that rally was a good example of what you're saying about Rocky maybe not putting the balls away when he has the opportunities, keeping them kind of high.
Yeah, that was just a great example there. And a great example of what De La Rosa is doing that Rocky isn't. Rocky's really got to hit a little bit lower. Things are coming off the back wall. De La Rosa seems to have found his rhythm.
Right.
And because of that, he's starting to get a little bit more confident. He was skipping those in game 1. He's certainly not now. Rocky will shoot this. And a skip ball.
Yeah, and we saw De La Rosa having some trouble with his backhand earlier in the match, but he's definitely found his rhythm, as you said. 10 serving 4.
De La Rosa going to the ceiling. He wants Rocky to shoot it. That's why.
Yeah, I think it's a good strategy from De La Rosa. He's noticing that Rocky is making his own mistakes, and so he's allowing him to make those mistakes and getting the points off it.
Yeah, and even though he just took a timeout, Rocky, I would take another one right now just because you just skipped 2 in a row. Things aren't working the way you want them to right now. And De La Rosa, again, opting to go to the ceiling because Rocky's not able to put the ball down. There's nice hands, though. De La Rosa had his opportunity and didn't finish. Rocky right in the middle of the court. Again, though, high skill level, was able to flick that into the corner. Nice finish from him. Let's see if he can get a few points to edge closer to De La Rosa. Oh, it looks like De La Rosa's bleeding again.
More blood. They're going to take a quick break and clean up. Take a quick minute to remind you guys that there is lots more outstanding racquetball to come today as everyone battles for the title of world champion. Coming up right after this, we have the men's doubles final featuring Team USA, which is Jake Bredenbeck and Jose Diaz, against Team Mexico, which is Javier Moreno and Alvaro Beltran. And then we'll end the broadcast with USA and Mexico women's doubles.
Yeah, Laura, we're having this medical timeout where De La Rosa is just getting patched up to stop the bleeding. Rocky getting some ice on his head.
Cooling
It
off.
must be warm in there. We don't have air conditioning in this facility. Having played myself in this, it's incredibly hot. And unless you live in this kind of environment, it's very hard to train for this kind of situation. You sweat an incredible amount. You have to stay hydrated. The lights in the courts are very warm too, and it's actually hotter in the court than out. So for these players, trained athletes, it's a lot easier for them, but we've seen some countries coming from parts of the world where it's much colder or cooler. Ireland, for example, where it's hard to train for this kind of situation.
Yeah, I think the hardest thing to overcome is that humidity, you know? It really, I don't know, changes the air and how you breathe.
Good pickup from Rocky.
Oh, and a skip from Rocky.
You can
just
see
off
his
in
face.
game two, yeah.
Yeah, you can really see his face. He's frustrated, especially on that forehand side. De La Rosa had a really awkward shot in the back on that glass. The back glass, side glass. Did well just to get it back and stay in the rally. Rocky finished it for him. Gets himself a side out. Beautiful shot there from De La Rosa. Gets a round of applause from the fans here. We've got a packed house. Includes Colombian TV, who I believe are streaming it live on national TV. So we appreciate them sharing what we love with the rest of the country.
And of course, we ask those of you at home to share that you're watching Racquetball. You can share that on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you go for your social media. You can get the live streaming at bit.ly/IRFworlds or internationalracquetball.com. And that's how you can help spread and grow racquetball yourself for free.
Got a good rally going on here, Laura.
Wow,
well, we saw that
from the
boast
crowd.
earlier. That was ridiculous. Much better from Rocky.
Yep.
In the middle of the court, put the ball down. That's what he needs to do to get back in this second game. Laura, we've had world championships all over the world. We mentioned Burlington, Canada in 2014, Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic 2012, Burlington, Canada, Seoul, Korea, looks like a replay, 2010, and then Kings Court, Ireland in 2008. So we are hoping, we'll find out hopefully in the next few months where the next World Championships will be, but we are hoping it might be in China, which is a great opportunity to show racquetball to a large population, but also the Asian Federation will have an opportunity to host a world championship. So we're very excited about that, and we hope that they're able to get the courts built that they're planning.
That would be an amazing opportunity for players to get there. Interesting to bring, racquetball to a new community and really help grow the sport on the other side of the world. Rocky gets a point, 5 serving 12.
Jam serve. Good pickup from
Wow.
De La Rosa. Rocky doesn't put it down.
And he pays for it again. That's really, really hurting him in game 2.
Yeah, you saw him switch away from that serve and went to a jam serve. De La Rosa moved his feet, was able to get a decent return, but it wasn't great. Rocky really had the opportunity to win that point, couldn't put it down. De La Rosa shows him how to do it. 3-shot rally, good serve, poor return, kill shot win.
De La Rosa very close to closing out game 2.
Good shot, says the referee. De La Rosa looks to his coach. Coach agrees. No appeal used. Players have 5. That's going to change after September 1st. So it'll be 3. Purpose of that really is just to speed up the game for those of us watching. Also, they'll be reduced in the number of timeouts from 3 to 2. And we won't have 5 minutes between tiebreak and game 2.
Ooh,
And again, it'll be 2 minutes.
answering back.
Excuse me, it'll be 2 minutes, just like between game 1 and 2. That's just to improve the amount of time that it takes for players to finish their matches. It allows the tournaments to run a little bit more quickly, and it entertains the fans a little bit more because they have less downtime between the second game and tiebreaker.
Wow, that backhand really working for De La Rosa in game 2. This is now game point.
It wasn't in the first game, and that's one of the big differences. You can see he's really hitting that hard, really hitting it crisply. In game 1, there were some skips on that side, and he was frustrated. Now he seems confident.
Another skip from Rocky, and he's frustrated with himself about how many shots he's given up and skipped. That's definitely frustrating and crucial. This means we're going to tiebreaker where anything can happen. It's a whole new ball game. First to 11. We'll be right back with more of the World Championships. back in the men's singles championship at the IRF 18th World Championship. This is the tiebreaker between Daniel De La Rosa and Rocky Carson. Anything can happen, but who will be named world champion? Carson with a quick timeout. Side out. So intense.
Tiebreakers are different, Laura. You're playing to 10. Players know this. And mentally, it can get in your head when you start thinking about, I'm getting closer to the end of this match, either whether you're ahead or behind. And it's important for both players to really just focus on the point they're playing rather than thinking how far or how close they are to winning or losing.
Daniel De La Rosa appealing. Wow. The referees overruled that. And that's going to be a side out for De La Rosa.
Yeah.
That's tough. Rocky not in agreement, thinking Daniel De La Rosa got jammed up by the wall, not by Rocky himself.
And you at home may have had a better viewing of that than we did. Rocky's not happy with the decision, but he's got to get over it and just get on with the match. You're only playing to 11, win by 1. So each point is just absolutely crucial. Excellent passing shot there from Daniel De La Rosa to the right side. Rocky hustled, almost got there, not quite.
Be interesting to see if Rocky has regrouped and he can cut down on his mistakes and not let that appeal really get in his head. Again, Rocky has been in this situation before, so I'm sure he has some tactics to keep himself focused.
Well, Laura, I mentioned the importance of if you win game 2, your chances of winning game 3. Oh, Daniel got caught up there. The tiebreaker. Let's see if Daniel's going to prove those statistics, or Rocky's going to be one out of 4 who digs himself out from game 2, figures out some new tactics, and takes this tiebreaker. But he's down 0 serving 1.
So he could beat the odds.
Beautiful shot from Daniel. You saw there he tried something different. You saw that drive serve to the left side. He hasn't been doing it all game. I mentioned that he'd been doing it during the week, and it looks like in this tiebreaker he was going to try that. In this case, didn't work. Daniel hit a crushing kill shot. He's back in the box.
Rocky appealing that.
I don't think he'll win this appeal. This is a case where the referee really doesn't need to go in the court because there was already an appeal, so he can just ask for the appeal. He's not happy with that decision.
Yeah, the refs are in agreement.
He's not going to be happy because it's not in his favor, but it was probably the right call there. Better from Rocky. Game 2, Rocky attacks that cross court above his shoulder, and Daniel consistently went to the ceiling, and Rocky kind of gave him a few cheap points by skipping some of those. So Daniel tried it that time. Rocky able to finish that point. Let's see if he can get on the board. Now's his opportunity. He knows he's got to do better, Laura. It's the tiebreaker of a world championship.
That's so frustrating.
You're in the front court. You've got every shot available. You can't put it in the floor. You have to hit the front wall, irrespective of what happens. You know, when I started playing, many years ago now, when I started playing, I asked those who were better than me for advice, and one of them gave me some solid advice, and that was essentially you never have an excuse not to hit the front wall. And you've got to do that. You have to hit the front wall. You've got to eliminate the easy, unforced errors. True, there's situations where you can't hit the front wall because of a great shot by your opponent, but in that case, it's a mental error, and we'll see if he can recover. Great pickup from Rocky.
Get from Rocky.
Oh,
and
wow.
Skips it. Worth the effort and a point for Rocky Carson.
There's a mental error from Daniel. He knew Rocky was down. He had to hit the front wall, and he didn't do it. And he gives Rocky the mental momentum. Rocky dove, worked really hard to win that point. Daniel knows he should have won that point, and so now Rocky, you can see him wiping the floor, allowing Daniel to think a little bit about what a big missed opportunity that was. Instead of getting a point, excuse me, I forgot who was serving. It was such a great rally. But either way, you can see that Daniel has now 30 seconds a minute to think about the fact that I really messed that up. Rocky has got the momentum. He earned that point with his defense.
That mental strategy really coming into play. Rocky sneaks it by De La Rosa, tying it up 2-2. And I think it is a great example of just what you were talking about, Tim. Rocky having that momentum and able to capitalize on it while Daniel might still be thinking about that point.
Yeah, a lot of times players just want to go to the next point when they make a mistake so they can forget about it. Sometimes they try too hard on the next point, but it can be useful to slow it down. Good pickup from De La Rosa. Better pass, though, from Rocky.
Yeah, that momentum switch really working for Rocky.
Looks like De La Rosa's hurt his side. You can see him holding his ribs. I mentioned the diving earlier in the match, and that just the way he dives, it looks dangerous at times. It looks a little bit out of control. And there's a situation where it looks like he hurt himself a little.
Proving your point. And he left quite a pool there on the floor. These guys are working hard in the tiebreaker.
Looks like he's okay to continue, though, which is good to see.
Make sure you guys stick around, because right after this, we're going to jump right into the men's doubles finals between Team USA and Team Mexico. And we'll round out our broadcast with the women's doubles finals, also Team USA and Team Mexico. Plus, check on Facebook. We've been posting pictures of the 18th World Racquetball Championships. So go and share those, check them out, give us a like. You can go to Facebook and search International Racquetball Federation.
If Rocky wins this next point, Laura, Daniel needs to take a timeout. He gets a side out, though. Beautiful technique on that shot. In a tiebreak, just a swing of 2 or 3 points can make a huge difference, and you have 2 timeouts. Sometimes players let it get a little bit too far away from them before they take their timeout to regroup. Rocky to the ceiling. That was an incredible shot. It took a huge degree of execution to take that off the sidewall and hit it so low across court. Really, really nice shot there from Daniel De La Rosa. Gets a point for his troubles.
Nice shot from Carson down the line. De La Rosa not able to move for that ball.
Yeah, in that situation, you saw Daniel De La Rosa hopefully wipe across his face saying he couldn't see I was screened. He's got 3 appeals in the tiebreak. Why not try one? You never know. The line judges might agree. There's a possibility he might have been able to chase that down had he seen it a little bit more clearly. Looks like a replay. The ball hit the door, had an odd bounce. Head official, Fabian Torres from Colombia.
was tough. Thought he was going to get that.
Yeah, the referee, the head official, at any point in the match can ask players to change their shirts. This is an instance where if I'm the head official in this match, I'm going to ask De La Rosa to come out and change his shirt because he's going to continue diving in this tie break. You know he's going to give everything. So he needs to get his shirt changed just so that we don't have so many of these little timeouts.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. You don't want to end up slowing it down from a spectator's standpoint. But as we mentioned earlier, these floors are not finished, and that is a bit of an advantage in terms of at least it's not too slippery. There haven't been many towel breaks, but these guys are leaving it all out there.
Yeah, one of the disadvantages of this floor is just that it does have a lot of friction. So diving can cause a lot of pain on some players, on their knees especially. Beautiful shot there from Rocky. Turned his body around well.
And
amazing, says his head coach, Dave Ellis.
Talking about that friction, we did see Rocky kind of slipping a lot in game one. He hasn't really slipped much since then, but maybe that was part of that factor.
We actually put a picture of one of the players' knees after they've been diving during the week. It's on our Facebook page, and you can see the impact that this has on their bodies when they commit everything for trying to try to win. Daniel with a setup. Took it very, very well. Allowed it to come across his body so that he could hit that forehand pinch. Rocky wants to check the ball. And it's broken, so we're going to have a replay.
Wow.
There's an example of that rule that I was talking about where you can only check it from squeezing. Had one of the players hit the ball, it would have been, the previous point would have stood.
Daniel's throwing out an appeal. I'm not sure if it's related to the broken ball.
Okay, Rocky's supposed to stay in the court here. He needs to, and Fabian Torres is making him go back in the court. So what, it was difficult to hear, but what Daniel said was that Rocky hit the ball after the rally before squeezing the ball. And so as a consequence, the previous point should have stood. I don't remember the exact account, and that obviously makes it difficult for the line judges who may not be thinking about that either.
Right.
But I don't think that happened, Laura.
I don't remember seeing Rocky hit it as well. And, you know, we talked right away about how Rocky picked that ball up and squeezed it. So it looks like they are going to replay.
Very tight tiebreaker. It's a long one. You can tell Rocky's using his experience to slow it down and just try to control the pace. It can be frustrating for some players who want to play quickly. He's been here before. Good shot, says Rocky Carson. Looks like Daniel slipped. I'm not sure what happened in that back left corner. Looks like he's hurt. Landed on his knee, perhaps. Possibly hit himself with the racket. It was hard to see in this corner. But he's going to take an injury timeout. So, Laura, the IRF rules on injuries, players are allowed to take a total of 15 minutes. Doesn't have to be in one chunk, but they're allowed to take a total of 15 minutes, after which they're obligated to play. If they are unable to play, then it's clearly a forfeit. So our head official will be starting a clock to monitor this, to make sure that play is fair and the rules are followed.
And is the 15 minutes for the entire match then, you're saying? Not just for the game, it's for the entire match?
I believe so, but without checking the rules,
we can't say for sure.
I won't commit to that. You can see our rules on our on our website. Rocky, meanwhile, gets some ice on his head.
And the referee just asked Rocky to change his shirt.
Yeah, it looks like both players may be asked to change your shirt. I don't have one, says Rocky Carson. That's
a problem. You've explained to me before, right? That let me try my hand at
go
this
for
one.
it.
If the player runs out of shirts, then they're disqualified. So, right, he wouldn't be able to continue playing because it wouldn't say Team USA. It wouldn't be representing his country.
That's right. There's specific requirements for international play. One of them is that it has to have the country on the back. It
Coach
looks like
Dave Ellis taking the shirt off his own back to give it to Rocky.
Honestly, I'm at a loss for words that Rocky doesn't have a spare shirt. Knowing the rules, he's been playing at the international level for so many
long.
years, and to only bring one shirt to a tournament, knowing that referees can't ask them to replace their shirts, he's obligated to do so. So there are specific requirements. One of them is that the country is on the back of the shirt. They are allowed sponsors on their shirts, but the sponsors have to be smaller sizes than the actual country. There's specific rules in doubles. You'll see in the finals the next two matches we're showing, they have to have the same clothing.
Right, matching uniforms.
Right, and we've seen players, this happens a lot in juniors, which we'll have in November in Mexico, where players will go in and they'll have USA on two shirts, but the two shirts are completely different colors, and that's not permitted by IRF rules, which is a good rule. You want to make sure that players are wearing the same color so that there's no confusion on the court.
Right, makes it easier, and for the viewers at home too, to see the teams playing together.
Oh, sure, and imagine any sport, basketball, for example, where players are allowed to wear all kinds of different colored shirts.
That would be chaos.
It's hard to identify your teammate.
So Rocky Carson was able to change his shirt thanks to Coach Dave Ellis for giving it up. Looks like Daniel De La Rosa is still utilizing that injury timeout.
Just mentioning the juniors, they are in San Luis Potosí, Mexico. We were there for the Pan Am Championships in March, and those videos that we streamed are available on our YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com and look for International Racquetball Federation and subscribe, which means you get notified every time we put a new video up. We've had a lot of interviews this week, which has been a lot of fun, Laura.
Super fun.
Enjoyed doing that, meeting a variety of different characters here at the World Championships, whether players, officials, coaches, members of federations, to get their insight into what it's like to be here at the World Championships. But the juniors is a phenomenal event. We get far more entries than we do at a World Championships. Players come from all over the world, and ages range from 10 to 18. We see so much drama in the matches because a lot of the kids have never been out of the country. They've never played in this kind of environment. So there's a lot of pressure, often put on themselves, by themselves, to win for their country. And so we see a lot of joy and a lot of tears. And we posted some pictures last year of some of that drama. And we also have some of the matches from last year. We saw, for example, in the blue division, which isn't even the gold division for world champion, where a player came from 10-2 down to win the tiebreak and advance. And it was just so much tension in the video, and you can just see it and feel it as the player who has match point at 10 just can't put it away and win a point. So it doesn't matter what age or what level. This is a great sport. We love the drama, and this is why we're here. We hope you're enjoying it just like we are. And it looks like we're ready to go once again.
Yeah, it looks like both players have changed their shirts. De La Rosa's not bleeding anymore. He got his knee patched up. And they're ready to roll and continue with this tiebreaker. We have Rocky Carson with 5 points, Daniel De La Rosa with 3. De La Rosa serving. Looks like the ball hit funky off the ceiling. Replay.
No disagreement from Rocky. He just wanted clarification from his coach that that was the right call. It was. Good pickup from Daniel. Wow.
Dive.
Oh,
man. Carson with the mistake.
We talked about momentum shifts, and we saw earlier where Rocky picked up a ball and Daniel put it into the floor. In this situation, Daniel, tremendous speed to get there, kept it alive, and this time it's Rocky's turn. One of the things you'll notice from that, though, Daniel's been consistently serving to Rocky's forehand. Rocky goes overhead, cross court. We saw it in game 2 in the beginning of this tiebreak where Daniel would go to the ceiling and play defensively, and Rocky kind of gave him some points by skipping the ball. Short serve. There's going to be an appeal.
Going to appeal, although his coach waving it off.
So in that situation, instead of going to the ceiling, Daniel attacked it on his backhand.
So that's a little confusing. It looks like De La Rosa called the appeal and then called it off. He called the appeal and then went to cancel it. But can you cancel it after you call it?
No, you shouldn't be allowed to cancel it after you called it. That's the equivalent of saying, I want a timeout,
No,
and then
I
changing your mind.
Right.
Actually, no, I don't.
So I think that's what the ref is checking right now. It doesn't seem right. If he called the appeal and then says he changes his mind.
And this is actually good from the head official. Rather than just trying to make it up on the spot, not really knowing the rule, he clarified it, went to the tournament desk, said, hey, I want to make sure I get this call right. Just please confirm that I made the right decision here.
And in the end, it ends up that Daniel De La Rosa uses one of his appeals. I think that was the right thing to do from the ref.
So he has 2 appeals left. Five serving 4. This feels like it's going down to the wire.
Skip by De La Rosa.
It cracked out. He had a couple of opportunities in that rally. Laura, I should mention that these players are competing for their country as well in a team event where how players end in the tournament just determines how many points they get toward a team total. The U.S. are the defending champions. In fact, ever since the World Championship started, we'll let this point finish.
Wow. Rocky
Beautiful
able
from
to roll
Rocky.
that one out. Point number 7.
U.S. have only lost this title once to Canada. So Mexico have a real opportunity to win their first team title here. And the outcome of these matches in the men's singles, the men's doubles, and the women's doubles could determine whether the U.S. retain the title or Mexico take it for the first time.
Very interesting. A lot of things will be determined today. Looks like a skip for De La Rosa. He said to the ref he wants to take the rest of his injury timeout. It looks like he can do that. I think we're going to go ahead and take a quick break as well. We'll be right back with more from this tiebreaker between Carson and De La Rosa. We're back in the World Championships by the International Racquetball Federation. Daniel De La Rosa taking more of his injury timeout. And earlier we had an interesting appeal situation where De La Rosa appealed a call for a short serve and then held back and said he wasn't going to use it. The referee went off and checked on it, and we thought that De La Rosa used the appeal. Tim, can you explain that a little more, what we heard in this break?
Yeah, it's unclear. We can't get a good view of the scoreboard to see whether the head official did indeed use an appeal, but logic would suggest that once you make an appeal, you're not allowed to cancel it. And it's like similar to a timeout. If you ask for a timeout, can you change your mind and then say, no, I don't want a timeout? So it's one of those, as our other analyst, Gary Mazeroff, would say, a nuance of refereeing. We have another one here, though, with injuries, because I mentioned the player's entitled up to 15 minutes, but it has to be a situation where the player comes into contact with a part of the court or another person to create extended injury time. What he said was,
thought he made it sound like it was a continuation of his timeout. Like he said, I'm going to use the rest of my injury timeout, and I thought that, yeah, you had to show somehow that you were still injured. And maybe he is. I mean, they are tending to his knee.
Yeah, but the problem is that his knee was, he didn't re-injure his knee.
Right,
he
nothing
didn't
happened.
run into a wall, for
Exactly.
example. So if I'm head coach Dave Ellis, I'm asking for a rule clarification here to say I don't think he's allowed to use the rest of his timeout here, because if I'm Daniel De La Rosa and I'm allowed to do this, I'm going to sit here for 10 minutes and use it because I'm down by 4 points. There's 3 points for match point, and so I need to get Rocky doing something different. And really with this injury, unless there's blood, as there was earlier, where you're required to come off the court, this is a situation where I have to check. I've never actually seen this happen in a live match before, but I would have to check that this is actually supposedly what's supposed to be going on. So head coach Dave Ellis, I might go say, hey, I'd like a rule clarification here, please. I'm not sure he's allowed to just take it every 3 minutes, come out for a couple minutes, which is probably why that rule makes sense the way we described it.
That's what I thought. I thought the same thing when he said I'd like to take the rest of it. It's not like you have reserves of your injury timeout. And although they are tending to his knee, not having something happen to re-injure it, even, you know, some kind of facial recognition like he re-injured himself, I think that's a little suspicious. But looks like Dave Ellis is talking to the referee, but no appeal.
Well, looks like we're ready to go. Meanwhile, Rocky has the momentum. He's played a lot better in the tiebreak compared to game 2, reduced the number of unforced errors, and he's ahead 8 serving 4, and he's 3 points away from becoming world champion.
He's in a good position right now.
Certainly has the psychological edge of being ahead.
He's not injured.
Daniel, we know, though, can come back. It's not too far away. He's only 7 points away from being world champion.
That's right.
Good serve to start from Rocky. This should be an avoidable hinder.
Rocky thinks it should be an avoidable. He's appealing. Rocky wins it. The referees agreed.
The Mexican coaches put their hands on their heads in disbelief, but both line judges agreed. It looked like Rocky had an opportunity there for a straight shot into the wall. That's what defines an avoidable hinder, among other rules, of course, but that's a clear one, is you inhibit somebody from being able to do that.
That gives Rocky 9 points.
Great pickup from Rocky. He's still in this point.
So athletic.
To the ceiling. Wow.
Oof. That forehand rip has been working for De La Rosa.
You know, against many other players, Rocky would have won that point from smart defense, but Daniel kept shooting. Eventually, he shot one that was just too good for Rocky, and you just got to salute, as Rocky did. That's a great shot. Rocky's going to shoot this. Doesn't put it
Too
down.
high.
Oh, he almost gets it, Daniel.
A nice soft off-speed touch from Rocky Carson. Make sure you guys stick around after this tiebreaker when we determine the men's world champion. There will be the men's doubles coming up, Team USA versus Team Mexico. Wow, that's going to give Carson 10 and puts him in match point position.
You know, De La Rosa gave Carson a great opportunity to win that point. Good serve from Rocky. De La Rosa, the ball came off the back wall just where Rocky wanted it. 3-shot rally. Great time to get a match point. Let's see if Rocky can pull it away. No timeout from Daniel De La Rosa. Two bounces. Daniel's still in this. He's got 7 points. We've seen it happen this week,
It's
Laura.
true, we have.
We saw a 10-2 tiebreaker. Individual came back and won 11-10, so it's not out. He's not out by
till it's over.
For those
First
of
to
us
11.
For those of us who are neutral, we really want an 11-10 if we can get it. Here's Daniel's opportunity.
Keeps it high. That's tough. Rocky kind of getting stuck behind De La Rosa.
Yeah, and he kind of looks like he said just 1 point, and that's what he's got to do. He's got to concentrate on the point at hand, forget what the score is.
Yep.
You saw how he moved his body to force Carson to stay on the left and hit cross court. Smart shot from him.
Rocky's still looking
Replay.
for that.
Looks like Rocky will definitely appeal this.
He's definitely appealing it. 1 up, 1 down.
So
Means the
one
call
line
stands.
judge agrees, one disagrees. We end with a replay. That's a tough one. It just depends on the interpretation of the rule by the official. That's why we have 3 of them instead of 1, because one, if a referee makes a mistake, it can change the outcome of a match. There's the ceiling ball I mentioned earlier.
Ooh, and a big swing from Rocky deep in the court for the side out, and now his second match point.
Very animated, Rocky Carson. He really wants this one. He's been animated all week, and it didn't matter what match he was playing. The clenched fists, we've seen a lot of them. You saw him a lot yesterday, Laura, when he defeated Moscoso in a tiebreaker. Tested his fitness for sure this week.
Ooh.
There's an appeal here.
Wow.
Well, this is what creates drama with referees. It's difficult. One line judge said replay, Rocky could have got it. One line judge said no replay, Rocky couldn't have got it. As a consequence, the call stands and we got a replay. Look at Rocky smiling. He knows he got away with one there. Let's see if he can regroup.
Ooh, little drama here in Cali, Colombia. Rocky keeps it up.
Here's his chance. Good pickup from Daniel. And he wins.
Wow. Great play from Rocky Carson. Throwing Daniel way back in the depths of the court. Daniel De La Rosa can't die for that one. Gets a standing ovation from the crowd. Rocky Carson is now the new world champion at our 18th IRF World Championship. Thank you, Tim, for joining me for commentating this match.
It's been a pleasure.
And I'm sure we'll see you in the next round. Coming up, we have USA versus Mexico in men's doubles. Of course, first we're going to take it down to an interview and hear from the new champion. So don't go anywhere, folks. We're going to interview Rocky Carson, and then there's more racquetball to come. Thanks for watching. We'll be right back with Rocky Carson.